there. It's miserable, and a lot of people have to have their air conditionings on, and a lot more.
Air conditioners.
What did I say?
Air conditioning.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have with me Solar Sandy, and she's correcting me right here on the air. And you know what? You had every right to. You know, Solar Sandy, here we wanted to come in today to have you in his studio, because the last time you were on the phone, and it's very hard.
I was coming from Tom's house, and
we were going to say hi to Tom.
Hi, Tom, and he's just the sweetest person. He lives in SRP, and you know, whether you live in APS or SRP, right now you're paying the peak rates the electric company can charge, not because the kilowatts cost any more July and August. It's just that we're using more of our AC, our power, and they can charge us more. And that's the reason that I am on this mission to help as many of my families. When I say families, Carol, I don't want people to think that I don't work with people other than if there's 2 or 3 people or 4 or 6. A family could be one person living in their house. They need to be comfortable in PYOP, producing their own power and paying less for it. And when you work with me, I invite people to go to APS and SRP's website and look at the rate plans. I can guarantee you that there is no rate plan that APS or SRP has that their power will be between 7 and 8 cents per kilowatt guaranteed for the next 25 years. When you're working with me, that's what it breaks down to per kilowatt. And the other horrendous charge that most people don't understand that's on their bill, most people don't understand how to read their bills, they just pay it. It doesn't matter how high it is. When that bill comes in, they pay it because there's no other choice. Your electricity is going to be shut off. It's called demand. Demand is a lot of people in SRP are very familiar with demand. APS people are getting familiar with demand. So between 3 and 8 and 1 and 8, depending on APS or SRP, you're paying even more for using your electricity that cost anywhere from 25 to 38 cents on peak. To now you're paying APS, you're paying an additional $17.44 for those kilowatts accumulated. And SRP in the super peak rates, you're paying $34.19 per kilowatt in these super peak rates. So they increase your kilowatt costs, and then you've got this ridiculous demand. So when we think that our bills have gone up in the summertime because we're using more power, yes, that's somewhat true, but it's because of these exorbitant fees that they're charging. On top of the fees and the taxes, they're charging this thing called demand. So, Carol, I have been on a mission. I'm thinking back now, it's over. It's 5 years now that my daughter called me needing help with her power bill. And I, a mom and a grandma, a retired nurse, due to an accident that I had, was on Social Security disability myself, and I couldn't help her pay that electric bill. I couldn't pay it that month, and I couldn't help her pay it in the months coming ahead. And I didn't know anything about solar. I didn't know how much it cost. I didn't know really how it worked. But I knew she couldn't pay that bill, and I couldn't help her pay it, and I needed to figure out a solution for her. Young mother, you know, her and John with 2 little ones at that time. Now they have 3. But she was going to be in her house for, 10, 15, 20 years, maybe even longer. That bill was going to be an essential bill, and it was going to continue to go up. As we've all seen, rates increase this summer, increase our electric bills. Whether you're APS or SRP, there's one thing for sure. You will never stop buying their power, and their bills will continue to go up because they will continue to increase the rates, and they'll add these horrible fees, taxes, and demand fees onto our bills. So the only way to save money on a bill that you're always spending far too much money on, an average house, Carol, most people don't even understand this, will spend between $80,000 to $100,000 on their power. It's the second highest cost next to your home. So now you're going to reduce that cost, and you're going to know exactly what you're paying for your power for the next 25 years, and you don't have to worry about the rates going up because now you're producing your own, and your kilowatts will cost between 7 and 8 cents. And I think I've started with my run-on sentence. Go to APS and SRP's website. Look and see if there's any rate plan that can give you a guarantee of your power costing between 7 and 8 cents per kilowatt for the next 25 years.
Well, here's what I say. we've said this many times before. There's a lot of people, you've been coming on the show for a long time. Now you're on every show. As a matter of fact, I think you're on every TV show too. But
Not quite.
Almost. But the reason why is because you found a way to be able to talk to a lot of people at one time. And here on this show, I know people have heard you, but there's not everybody that has heard you. Either they've called and they've said, well, I'm thinking about it, know, and they haven't followed through. You always should call Solar Sandy and find out what's happening new. That's what Solar Sandy is all about, is the education part of this whole thing. That's the secret sauce that you talk about quite a bit on, on my shows, my Television Now show.
Everything.
Everything.
It is
it's the secret sauce that she has something that she offers that no other people really do. And even though when we say this, it sounds corny, it's Solar Sandy, but Solar Sandy is out there protecting you. She's really looking out for you.
I'm an advocate. I've become an energy expert. I know my name is Solar Sandy, but there's so much more involved. And as many as my families and households that went solar with me in previous years, and they were very wise to do that to save on their electric bill, there is so many changes happening with the power company that it's not just about putting solar panels on someone's roof anymore. There's smart energy management to manage this demand charge to give the families even more savings. There's the buyback deadline coming up in APS August 31st that everybody needs to pay attention to, because this is huge. This deadline, August 31st, is where they're buying your extra kilowatts back for 12.9 cents. This was not available last year, so any of my families who went solar with me last year, this wasn't available. The grandfathering and getting the kilowatt credits was what was available last year, and everybody's done quite well with that. But this is what's available now. They're buying the extra power back at 12.9 cents. It's the way that I can zero out your APS bill and actually have your roof sending you a check every year at the end of the year, December 31st. So now is the time to do it. Do not miss this deadline, because APS has taken things away before. They've changed things before, and this is something that will really benefit my families and households to save the maximum amount off a bill that they're spending way too much money on.
Her number is 623, where is it?
623-850-8229.
Ooh, this is the wrong paper in front of me. So we're going to have to make sure we get that on there. But here's the thing, what you really need to do. Yes, you can call her, talk to her. She'll do a free consultation with you. And what she does really well is she loves to come to you. She wants you to fill out your kilowatt worksheet on her website, which is AskSolarSandy.com. Make sure you go to AskSolarSandy.com.
ASK, spell it out, because some people, they hear the Solar Sandy part, and there's some fake websites out there, Carol, and I'm going to talk about those for just a second. They are using part of my name, and they're not associated with me, and they're representing themselves to be me. They're not. So make sure you go to Solar, S-O-L-A-R, Sandy.com. If you don't think you're on my website, if you just have a funny feeling that it's not me, because there should be a picture of me, and
you're going to know her when you see her. Go ahead.
And so please make sure you're on my website. If you have any question whether you're on my website or not, you call me at 623-850-8229. This is really important, people. I had a long conversation with a really nice gentleman today, Ed, who listens to us, Carol, and he had talked to 2 other companies. He said, Sandy, none of them could answer the questions to my satisfaction. And I was on the phone with him maybe 30, 40 minutes. He says, you are the most informed person that I've talked to. And it's because I have, really rolled my sleeves up. I did this for my daughter and rolled my sleeves up and really understood it for her. And I tell people there's lots of misinformation going on out there about solar and batteries and all the rest of it. I've got so much information. I can't talk about it all here today, but truly there's a lot of people out there giving a lot of misinformation. So check with me. If you're on the right direction, there's other good people out there doing this. I'm not saying that there's not. So if you're going in the right direction, I want to say good for you. That sounds great. You're going solar. But if you're not, and you want a second opinion, and when we go to the doctors, we want a second opinion from a doctor. Well, this is your home, your household, your family's, electricity we're talking about. It's not a bad idea to get a second opinion just to make sure you're doing absolutely the right thing.
I also want to talk about you and your smidge more that we've talked about, and that to me is very important. Where this is going to come in here right now.
Absolutely.
When you talk to somebody, and you might have, and you have had maybe a consultation with them. This way, you now can maybe talk to Solar Sandy, get a little bit more information, because this is what she does. That is also different. Is that she makes sure that you have enough, and not everybody does that. Go ahead.
Absolutely, Carol. So, when I started researching this for my daughter, they were talking about the payment. And I said, I'm really not concerned about the payment. I want to make sure she has all the power she needs, day, nighttime, and a smidge more.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to a break, and we're going to come back and talk further. I'm going to say this phone number really really slow for everybody, and that number is 623-850-8229. Go call her. She does a free consultation. Also, go up on their website. It's AskSolarSandy.com. We'll be back in just a minute. Welcome back, everyone, and we are talking to Solar Sandy, and I have said this a lot. First of all, guys, pick up the phone. Give her a call, whether you've heard her, and if you haven't heard her, you need to find out how she can help you on a bill that you're paying way too much money on,
and
no matter what.
It's going to continue to go up, Carol. It's just crazy. These electric companies, I've had so many conversations in this last week. We work so hard to live in our home, and now we are being dictated how comfortable and how much it costs us to run our own electricity in our own home. Between 3 and 5 p.m., the hottest time of the day, or between 1 and 8 p.m. during the hottest time of the day in SRP, it's almost
ludicrous. That's what it is.
It really, that's why I am so passionate about what I'm doing. I believe in it. My daughter has had solar for almost 5 years now. I have solar on my roof, so I walk the talk and talk the talk and walk the walk, because it's our power. We are always going to need our electricity, and now this year more so than previous years, these bills are going up so significantly, so dramatically. I'm actually concerned for people's health and well-being. Between 3 and 8 p.m. shutting their AC off just to be able to afford to keep their electricity on. There is an alternative. Produce your own power and pay less for it. It costs nothing to get started, and your kilowatt price will be between 7 and 8 cents per kilowatt. And I can sit down with people and show them exactly how I get to derive at those figures. Like I said, this is the second highest cost next to your house that you'll purchase over a lifetime. An average household will spend between $80,000 to $100,000, if not more. I'm just saying an average conservative household using their power, $80,000 to $100,000 over the next 20 years. And there is no rate plan, APS or SRP, that is going to provide you your power between 7 and 8 cents and guarantee that you have being able to live comfortably, being able to run your AC between 3 and 8 between the hottest time of the day, and know that you're not going to have a $500 or $600 bill. There isn't anything like this out there.
Well, I think all of us would agree that with this time of the year especially, we don't even really look at it. We just kind of peek really quickly, and then we just put it on our desk because we don't even want to look at it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. There are other alternatives. And maybe it is right, maybe it's not right, but you won't know until you talk to her and find out. It's a free consultation. It's no obligation. She loves to go to people and talk to you, so that the best thing to do is to go ahead.
Call or go to my website. And Carol, I'm just talking about that. I meet the nicest people. Our listeners are just really great people. And I love getting up every day and going out to help as many households, as many families as I can, to educate them about producing their own power and paying less for it. I really enjoy it, because when I'm told at the end of the day, Sandy, we're really grateful that you came so that we know what our power costs are going to be for the next 25 years, and I know that they're going to be living comfortably, and everything that I've said to them is accurate and correct. Because if you count on APS and SRP to give you accurate information, you're going to sorely be mistaken, and you're going to be sorely out of luck. APS and SRP gives so many so much inaccurate information. It really frustrates me, and I know I've run into that with a lot of the families that I've met with. They said, well, APS said this or SRP said that. Well, they really don't care to give you the most accurate information. I'm saying this truthfully because either way, you're still going to buy their power. So if they lead you to believe this or that, it really,
it could really mess things up. Here's what we're going to do.
Their bills and their money going out of their bank accounts, especially, is what is going to mess up, Carol.
Right. Well, it is the money. It's all about the money, and where you can save money is where you want. Everybody wants to save money. So, and it makes sense for you to at least talk to her, find out how she can help you save money on a bill that you're already paying way too much money on. So go up on her website. She has a lot of information there. Make sure you go to the right one. We're going to talk about that in a minute. It's AskSolarSandy.com. So when you go home and you forgot, so you remember Solar Sandy, but you didn't remember the ask, it's AskSolarSandy.com. You can also call her. Write the number down. It is 623-850-8229. We know that a lot of people have heard her, but the fact is that it changes all the time. The fact is that we know a lot of people think, I'm not going to do it right now, but you know what? The time to do it is now.
Yeah, from the time that I meet with my families, it takes about 45 days to get everything in place. So right now, there's this deadline, August 31st. You don't have to be installed. You don't have to be complete with APS, but you do have to be accepted by APS before that deadline. And that's the APS buyback of that extra power that you're exporting back to the grid. So when I set up my family system, I make sure that they're getting all the power they need for day, nighttime, and a smidge extra. So they are actually going to have a statement from APS, but they will not owe any money to APS. So now we've zeroed out their APS bill, and potentially at the end of the year, December 31st, they're going to receive a check back. This is for my APS families and households only. SRP made this impossible quite a number of years ago, but it still makes sense in SRP to go solar because you're paying between 0.68 and 8 cents per kilowatt for producing your own power, and you're saving off of those huge demand fees that I just went over.
Put your face in
the summer. SRP, the super peak rates demand is $34.19 per kilowatt. APS is $17.44. If you're not on that plan in APS, you're paying 3 times the amount for the power.
Here's the thing, talking about numbers, and it's sort of like, oh my God, lots of numbers. Yeah. Really, that's why the only way you're going to find out is by talking to her, having her look at your bill, having you fill out the kilowatt worksheet. And let me just tell you something. I filled out one, and it's not easy to do. So you really have to figure it out and then send it in and let her check it out for you. She'll talk to you.
It takes 3 to 5 minutes, Carol. It actually is not that hard.
It isn't about what you're doing with that time. It's figuring out how to read it. Is what you're all about, is telling people how to read it.
How to read your bills. Okay. The kilowatt worksheet's easy to do.
I'm talking about figuring out how to read your bill.
Oh, no, that's not easy.
Because it is not easy.
No, that is not easy.
I don't think anyone ever really reads it.
All the fees, all the taxes, all the surcharges, and the majority of those, when you produce your own power and pay less for it, are going to go away. I've seen bills this summer where over half of the cost of their electric bill was in the fees, taxes, and surcharges. So put that money in your own bank account, in your own family, back in your own family's budget by producing your own power between 7 and 8 cents per kilowatt.
There's also a lot of other reasons to do this. Obviously, there's a lot of tax incentives as well.
Yes.
And what does it take to do?
As long as you own your own home, condo, townhouse, there's no money to get started. If you've got good credit, most everybody qualifies for this. So there's no money to get started saving money on a bill that's already costing you too much money to put more money back in your own pocket.
And if you're renting, we've said this before, talk to your landlord. The landlord will talk, but maybe they'll do something like this to save you because it helps them in the long run with their houses.
If we can get the landlord on board, the landlord's going to receive the tax incentive, and it increases the value of the home, and there's roof warranties, and the panels are monitored. There's nothing that the homeowner or the owner of the house house has to worry about except paying a lower cost for their power.
What happens when they move and what just happen?
If there's two things that
Because
can
I think
happen.
a lot of people have that question.
If they move, there's two things. They increase the value of the home, so they will recoup any costs that they've paid into for their system. Or they can actually take their system with them to another home that they're moving to. You take your furniture when you move. This is yours. It belongs to you. You can take it with you. So a lot of people have never considered that. My company, my preferred install partner, is in the top 3 installation companies in Arizona, and that's why I utilize them. They're phenomenal. And we have got a plan that if you move, you take your panels with you to your next house, because you're going to need power there too.
It just makes sense. I don't understand why people. I do know, because people are funny. They just when they're not educated on it, they may not make that call. And this is what you're going to do: is you're going to learn from one of the best. She's got the secret sauce, and that is that she's done all the homework for you.
Absolutely. So when my daughter went solar a number of years ago, there was only 1 or 2 houses that had it in her community. I just got back from visiting her and my 3 little grandbabies now, and there is only 1 house in her community. You're going to see this year more and more solar going on people's homes because they cannot continue affording the cost of their electricity, Carol. PYOP, produce your own power, pay less for it, between 7 and 8 cents per kilowatt, and put more of your hard-earned money back in your own pocket.
One thing I also know is she has a lot of tools in her tool bag.
I do.
She does. And there's a lot of different ways that she can help you. The only way you're going to know is by giving her a call. That number is area code 623-850-8229. When you get home, look up AskSolarSandy.com. Again, that number is 623-850-8229. It's AskSolarSandy.com.
Newsflash.